When a wrestling headline screams that Alexa Bliss exposed WWE for forcing her into romantic storylines, you'd think we're about to witness the wrestling equivalent of a tell-all documentary that burns the industry to the ground. Plot twist: we're not, because that headline is more manufactured than a worked shoot, and what actually happened is way less dramatic but infinitely more interesting if you care about how wrestling creative actually works behind the curtain. Buckle up, because we're about to separate the sensational fiction from the messy reality of WWE's creative process during the Vince McMahon era. First things first, let's address the elephant in the room wearing a championship belt. That headline claiming Alexa Bliss exposed WWE and revealed how they forced her into romantic scripts is doing Olympic-level gymnastics with the truth. Alexa hasn't come forward exposing anything. She hasn't filed complaints about being forced into uncomfortable situations. She hasn't done a tearful interview detailing how WWE creative victimized her with inappropriate storyline assignments. That entire narrative is fabricated clickbait designed to exploit your emotions and generate views by making you think there's a major scandal when there absolutely isn't one. What we actually have is Enzo Amore, the former WWE superstar who's become the gift that keeps giving when it comes to behind-the-scenes stories, talking about a romantic storyline that was planned but never executed. During an appearance on The John Rondy Show, Enzo detailed this scrapped creative idea that would have involved him in a love triangle with Alexa Bliss and Nia Jax. Now, Enzo talking about what almost happened years ago is interesting wrestling history, but it's not Alexa exposing WWE for any kind of wrongdoing. Those are two completely different things, and conflating them is intellectually dishonest at best. Let's rewind to the era we're talking about. From 2016 to 2018, Alexa Bliss was absolutely dominating WWE Raw under the Vince McMahon regime. The goddess wasn't just another wrestler on the roster, she was the face of the entire women's division on the main roster. Alexa was once the longest-reigning Raw Women's Champion, a record that proved she wasn't just talented but also trusted by management to carry the division during a crucial period when WWE was trying to revolutionize how they presented women's wrestling. But success doesn't mean everything ages well, and Alexa's run included some storylines that make modern audiences cringe harder than watching old Attitude Era segments. WWE under Vince McMahon had a particular creative philosophy about women's wrestling that mixed athletic competition with soap opera drama, romantic angles, and segments that prioritized entertainment over pure wrestling. Some of it worked brilliantly. Some of it makes you wonder what everyone was thinking in those creative meetings. The specific storyline Enzo detailed involves a planned segment that would have taken place during Monday Night Raw's 25th anniversary celebration. That's significant because milestone episodes usually get extra attention, bigger budgets, and more elaborate creative planning. WWE wanting to use that platform for a romantic angle tells you they thought it was going to be a memorable moment that would generate buzz and get people talking. According to Enzo, he was supposed to be romantically involved with Alexa Bliss on screen as part of this anniversary spectacular. But this storyline wasn't happening in a vacuum. It was directly linked to segments that Nia Jax and Enzo Amore were already doing in late 2017 and early 2018. If you remember that period, and honestly it's hard to forget, Enzo and Nia had this weird flirty dynamic where WWE was trying to create this unlikely attraction storyline between the loudmouthed cruiserweight and the dominant powerhouse. It was polarizing content that had some fans invested and others reaching for the remote control. Adding Alexa Bliss to this existing Enzo and Nia dynamic was supposed to create a classic love triangle, which is creative writing 101 when you've run out of original ideas. The setup was beautifully soap opera in its execution. After Enzo lost to Goldust and had a segment with the Dudley Boys during that Raw anniversary show, he was scheduled to film a backstage segment with both Nia Jax and Alexa Bliss. The planned moment that would ignite this love triangle drama? Nia was supposed to find Enzo kissing her best friend Alexa Bliss. Cue the dramatic music, the shocked reactions, and weeks of television built around jealousy and betrayal. It's the kind of angle that Vince McMahon absolutely loved during his decades running WWE creative. Love triangles, romantic entanglements, friends betraying each other over relationships, all of that melodrama that draws from daytime soap operas and primetime dramas. Whether wrestling fans actually wanted to see that kind of content is debatable, but Vince believed it connected with mainstream audiences and made wrestling more accessible to people who weren't hardcore fans. Now here's where we need to have an honest conversation about the word forced that's doing all the heavy lifting in that fake headline. Were wrestlers forced to participate in romantic storylines they didn't want to do? In the technical sense that WWE creative assigns storylines and wrestlers are expected to perform those assignments as contracted employees, yes, everyone is forced to do whatever creative gives them. That's not unique to romantic angles or Alexa Bliss specifically. That's literally the job description for being a professional wrestler in a major promotion. But forced implies coercion, lack of consent, and situations where talent voiced objections that were ignored. There's absolutely zero evidence that happened here. Alexa Bliss has never publicly stated she objected to this storyline. She's never claimed she was uncomfortable with the romantic angle or felt pressured into doing something against her will. The story got scrapped before it happened for reasons completely unrelated to Alexa having any problems with the creative direction. Creating a scandal where none exists isn't journalism, it's fiction masquerading as news. The real reason this love triangle storyline never happened is much simpler and way less controversial. Enzo Amore was fired from WWE in January 2018 following serious allegations that led to his immediate release from the company. When your male lead in a romantic storyline suddenly gets terminated, continuing that angle becomes impossible. WWE had to scramble and figure out what to do with the Alexa and Nia storyline without Enzo as the connecting thread holding it together. What WWE Creative did was actually pretty smart given the circumstances. They continued the feud between Alexa Bliss and Nia Jax on Raw but completely pivoted away from any romantic elements. Instead, they focused on the existing friendship between Alexa and Nia and built a story around Alexa being a manipulative bully who constantly used and belittled her supposed best friend. This culminated in Nia finally standing up for herself and earning a championship match at WrestleMania 34. At WrestleMania in New Orleans, Nia Jax defeated Alexa Bliss to capture the Raw Women's Championship in front of over 70,000 fans at the grandest stage of them all. It was a massive moment for Nia, who had been working toward this championship opportunity for years, and it gave